he's done quite a few.
My wife's been with him too.
Good afternoon. The Memphis Landmarks Commission is hereby called to order for its regularly scheduled meeting of January the 26th, 2023. My name is Cindy Tucker, and I'm the chair of the Landmarks Commission. Mr. Brett Ragsdale serves as the executive secretary of the commission. Mr. Ragsdale, may I get a roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Boyd? Mr. Warren?
Here.
Mr. Walker?
Here.
Ms. Strong?
Here.
Ms. Love?
Here.
Mr. Gill?
Here.
Sheriff Tucker?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. The Memphis Landmarks Commission and the local historic district provisions are established to ensure preservation of structures that are of historic value to Memphis. Our function is to preserve significant resources, enhance community pride, and foster civic beauty, and ensure compatibility within designated historic districts. The Commission is authorized to review projects and determine their appropriateness based on the design review guidelines. At this time, I would like to swear in the staff. You may remain seated. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. May I get a motion to approve the minutes from the last month's meeting? Somebody?
I make a motion to approve.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Mr. Secretary, please provide us a secretary's report, if there is one this month, and then explain the procedure for this meeting.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have a secretary's report, but I do want to note that item number 2 is a hold. So it's just an update to the agenda. And so the procedure for this meeting will be as follows. I will introduce each case as listed on the agenda. Copies of the agenda are found on the right podium. For each case, staff at the Division of Planning and Development will give a presentation. At the conclusion of the staff presentation, the applicant will have 5 minutes to present his or her case. After the applicant's presentation, the commission will hear first from those speakers in support of the application, then from those speakers in opposition to the application, and the speakers will have 3 minutes each. And then finally, the applicant will have 3 minutes to provide rebuttal. These times do not include time for questions from and answers to members of the commission. The chair may provide additional time, provided both sides are given an equal amount of additional time. All parties who wish to provide testimony to the commission will be sworn in by the chair. If a member of the audience wishes to provide testimony in support of or in opposition to a particular case on today's agenda, he or she will need to fill out a speaker's card for the record. Speaker's cards are available at the front podium. Once filled out, speaker's cards can be submitted to any DPD planner at the left podium. We do not need speaker's cards from the applicants since their names are already part of the record. After all parties have been heard, the commission will close the public hearing, make a motion, and then deliberate on the case. All motions made by this commission will be made in the affirmative. The bylaws governing the commission require the affirmative vote of a majority of the attending members to approve an application. The commission may also vote to hold an application for a period of 1 month. Madam Chair, I submit that all cases have been filed in proper order, all applicants have been notified of this hearing, and all notice requirements have been fulfilled.
Thank you. At this point, the commission will establish a consent agenda. To establish the consent agenda, the secretary will call out each eligible case. If any member of the audience or the commission objects to the case being placed on the consent agenda, he or she should indicate it by show of hands when the secretary reads the case. Once the consent agenda is established, the commission will vote on all cases placed on the consent agenda as a whole and will not hold individual public hearings on each case. Mr. Secretary, which items are on our agenda?
Item number 1, COA 2022-136, 1441 Glendale Avenue. Item number 4, COA 2022-170, 1492 Carr Avenue. Item number 5, COA 2022-172, 213 North Watkins Street. Item number 6, COA 2022-174, 1726 Veazey Avenue. Item number 7, COA 2022-175, 1065 Oakview Street. Item number 8, COA 2022-176, 1479 Felix Avenue. Item number 11, COA 2022-179, 422 South Main Street. Item number 12, COA 2022-180, 338 South Main Street. Item number 13, COA 2022-182, 993 North McNeil Street, and that is with a friendly amendment to strike condition number 4. And item number 14, COA 2022-183, 850 Roland Street. And if you don't mind, just give me 1 second and let me confirm that that was not a question about one of the consent items. So if we could just hold 1 second, that's the consent agenda as it stands now, but I just want to confirm.
I think he doesn't know if he agrees or not with the conditions. Okay.
And Madam Chair, okay, we're going to hear the case that they were discussing. So the consent agenda, as I read it, is still up, the correct.
Which
agenda.
number? Going to hear this one?
Yeah, we were already going to hear
Okay.
it anyway, so yes.
Okay.
And yes.
All right, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as established by the Secretary?
I move to establish the consent agenda as established by Secretary Ragsdale.
Thank you. I'd like to remind the Commission that by voting on the consent agenda, he or she affirms that he or she has read the staff report and is in full agreement with the conditions. May I have a second?
Maybe not.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Secretary, may I get a roll call?
And let the record show that Ms. Doss has joined us. Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Boyd?
Yes.
Mr. Warren?
Yes.
Ms. Strong?
Yes.
Mr. Gill?
Yes.
Ms. Love?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Vice Chair Doss?
Yes.
And Chair Tucker?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. If you are here for any of the cases just listed on the consent agenda, you have been approved. You do not need to remain at the meeting, but are welcome to stay if you'd like. Thank you. At this point, I would like to state that the minor COA applications as listed on the agenda have been reviewed and approved by the Commission. The Commission will now continue in the regular hearing of the major COA applications as listed on the agenda. Mr. Secretary, please call the first case of the regular agenda.
Item number 3, COA 2022-157, 850 Garland Street.
Is the applicant here? Okay, could you come up, please? Could you state your name and address?
My name is Said Mohammed.
And your address, please?
My primary address is 2226 Una Aniak Pike, Aniak, Tennessee.
Thank you. Could you raise your hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I don't hear very well, but I don't understand very well what you said.
Does not understand.
He couldn't hear. Doesn't hear well.
Okay.
He said he doesn't hear well.
Yes.
Yes, I said.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Okay, thank you. Have you had a chance to look at the report?
yes, I have looked at it, and I have been on vacation. I have done part of the requirement has been sent to me, but as you have seen on the picture, the property already completed. The notice that I received after completion, which I didn't know, the historic area and the porch also has been done with a permit. I permitted to do the porch. I don't know why I'm required to put additional posters on that one.
Okay, wait 1 second. The question is, you don't agree with the report, correct?
partially agreed, which I did also. I did under the porch, I attached the bricks. It might reflect on the picture on the property.
I believe he has an issue with one or two of the conditions, but he has read the report and understands it.
Okay. Let's see the staff presentation.
Okay.
They're gonna show us the staff presentation.
Good
can stay.
afternoon. I'm Margot Payne with DPD. This property is located at 850 Garland Street in Valentine, Evergreen. It's a one-story craftsman-style bungalow with Tudor influence, built in 1925. It originally had this clipped gable roof, an unpainted brick veneer, 3/1 double-hung wood windows, and a 3-light craftsman-style entry door. The clipped gable porch recently had a non-original metal awning supported by non-original wrought iron posts. On March 18th, 2021, prior to the establishment of the Valentine Evergreen Historic Landmarks District, the applicant applied for and received residential alteration permits to alter the roof line and the front porch from a clipped gable roof to a gable roof with larger gable windows. More recently, after the neighborhood received landmarks designation, the applicant painted the exterior brick veneer and replaced all windows and doors on the first floor, resulting in a stop work order that was issued on November 9th. So as we know, painting of brick is not allowed in Valentine Evergreen. Additionally, the replacement windows and doors are required to match the originals, which these do not. So the 3/1 windows were replaced with 6/6 vinyl windows with the in-between glass muntins, and the front door was replaced with an inappropriate product that doesn't match the Craftsman or Tudor styles. Additionally, the porch columns are oddly spaced, and the poured concrete footing is not appropriate to the layout of the home and the openings. Staff recommends modifying the column layout facing the new porch and extension with brick masonry, including adding a cheek wall to support an added column on the corner adjacent to the stairs of the porch to better complement the home and the neighboring properties, as shown in this proposed modification. So considering the large amount of changes necessary to bring this property into compliance with the guidelines, staff recommends approval for exterior alterations with 5 conditions. 1, that the paint scheme of the home shall consist of at least 2 colors that differentiate between the wood architectural details and the brick masonry, which shall be painted a brick color. 2, exterior grids or muntins shall be added to all replacement windows to align with and cover the in-between glass 4/4 and 6/6 grid patterns. 3, the front entry door shall be replaced with a Tudor or Craftsman style door that fits the original opening size. 4, the column layout of the front porch shall be modified and 2 columns shall be added in accordance with the approved elevation. A cheek wall shall be added to support the corner column adjacent to the stairs, and the entire porch and extension shall be faced with brick masonry. And I believe Mr. Muhammad has already started with the brick cheek wall. He can explain that further, but, well, I'll let him speak, but I believe he has an issue with the column alignment. So that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Have some questions?
There's a picture in the staff report of the porch having 4 columns, and this is after the painting.
Up here.
Oh, is that?
That's how it looks now.
Okay, got it.
So the modification that was just previously on the screen, right here,
Yeah, I'm not crazy.
that happened, that was from our design review meeting. After,
Is that a rendering, or is
it's
that?
a rendering, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so the one, is he okay with everything except for one? Is that what?
Are you, is the column modification your primary issue?
Well, it's not a primary issue for me, but it seems to me the house look ugly if I add extra columns. This is 6x6 bolted in 6x6 and covered by 1x8 covered. It's a strong enough, a double header On the ceiling side, I don't know how to explain to you, but if I'm obligated, I have to do it. But it seems to me, it looks good the way it is. It's not that much cost. I have to, if you want me to add, I can add. That's a requirement I have to do, I have to do it. Otherwise, it looks good, it's strong, 6x6 bolted in on the porch, on the concrete bolted in. If you say I have to do, I have to do.
Okay, do y'all have any more questions for staff before we move on?
Were there any other column layouts explored? Because to me, it seems like potentially thicker columns on the ends could potentially remove the smaller ones and still proportionally look all right and maybe not have to have as many on there. So are there any other options potentially that he could explore that still makes it look visually appropriate?
We did not explore any options, but this would, I think everyone's open to that.
What was the question or the comment? Could we repeat that?
You repeat that?
The column layout right now,
Yeah.
the 4 in front of that gable portion as well. I was saying that perhaps there's another alternative of having a thicker corner columns without the center columns needing, not this one, the new rendered one, because that's just not
If
gonna
I
work.
can mention too, Secretary Ragsdale wanted me to point out in the corner where the stairs are, that was the main issue, that the column is inset for the stairs, and so it creates an imbalance. So that's where the issue's stemming from. If you want to,
Completely agree. Completely agree. So I know the curb wall absolutely needs to be there, but just trying to think of what's the less amount of materials that could potentially be used and still give that same effect of proportion and balance.
By the way, that's 8-foot ceiling, exactly 8 foot. I mean, the width is, the length is, the width is, the depth is 8 foot. And if you require me to do that, I will do that. Otherwise, it seems to me it's good. I work on houses. I have done several houses over here also. About 22 houses I have done over here so far. I work myself and I have workers. And I was thinking this is the best, for the area. We done excellent job, but which I didn't know that was turned into historic area.
Mr. Mohammed,
This is the situation I stuck into. Otherwise, if I knew, I would have been fulfilled the requirement according to the area. As we talked on the it has been changed last August, which I didn't have the information. Yeah, this is honestly mistake. This is what happened.
Mr. Mohammed, excuse me, let us finish asking her a couple of questions, and then we'll address you as well and give you another opportunity to speak. Okay?
Thank you.
Do y'all have any other questions for staff? Or any comments yet? Okay. Okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead and tell us what you think. You have 5 minutes to talk.
I don't think I have to talk further more. As you know, the property was very badly shaped. When I got it, it was run down property. I spent a lot of money to rehab this property. I spent a big money on it. I was trying to live in it myself for a while. Maybe later on, after 2 years or so, maybe sell it or rent it. That was my primary goal on this property, even to stay in it. I was thinking this is the best that has been done for that street. But if you say I have to do whatever require me, I have to do it. I have to do it.
Do y'all have questions for Mr. Mohammed? Okay. And there's nobody in opposition? Okay. Did you want to say anything else? Are you good? On your behalf?
You talking to me?
Yes, sir.
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
Did you want to say anything else? Are you?
No.
Okay. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to close the public hearing, which is us talking to you right now. And we're going to talk amongst ourselves, the commission.
Okay,
And then we'll readdress you a little bit later if we need to.
all right,
Okay?
all right.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
For the purposes of
purpose,
discussion,
yeah.
I move to approve case, 2022-157,
Yeah.
subject to the staff's conditions.
Okay. Does anybody want to talk about, yeah, you have a second.
Second.
Well, I guess I'll start with saying I appreciate the work and the investment in the house. And this is an interesting case in that work started before the district existed, but that permitted work was limited, and then additional work was brought on. I'm somewhat sympathetic to the project's lifespan, obviously saddling that transition. But I think it's entirely appropriate that we're talking almost exclusively about columns at this point, because this is one of the most creative column placements I've ever seen. And the house it really would benefit from addressing the columns and putting them in more places where they'd be more expected and more traditionally found. So I think that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
I also have to say I do appreciate the staff actually doing some allowances, for instance, not making the 3/1 come back, or even just removing the bottom mittens from, just having a 6/1 or a 4/1. So I think the conditions presented are quite appropriate for this home, because we still want it to be appealing and beneficial to the neighborhood as a whole.
So I guess a question for Ms. Payne, is there, as you understand it, is the applicant agreeable to building some structure? I guess the term is perhaps that cheek wall that will allow a column to be relocated to the corner?
Yes, I believe he started adding the brick to the foundation. Can I ask him?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you add, when you added the brick to the foundation, did you add it all the way past the stairs?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did. Want to see the picture, extra picture?
Sure,
If you
yes.
want me to see.
Did,
The one you sent me?
No, it's not.
I was not in the design review meetings, but was it ever discussed that perhaps there'd be 3 pairs of columns? Like, where we see a Craftsman house with 2 square columns in pairs that are separated with a slight gap between them? There could be a pair at the far left and a pair at the bottom of the triangle, and then a pair at the far end of the porch. Was that ever?
It wasn't.
Was not.
Sketch it out, Peter.
Well, I already did. Here, we can pass this down. It's on the bottom of this page. I think we could maybe amend the condition to give the applicant an option. It's a really crude sketch, but you see those 3 sets of 2? Mm-hmm. And the idea is that columns occur at the corner of the triangles where, yeah, that's not quite it.
Yeah, it has squares on the column.
Yeah, we'll have to address that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
As a matter of explanation, she's showing us a photograph of the brick veneer that's been added to the stair on the left, but it still follows the stagger of the steps.
And Madam Chair, if I may suggest that if you wanted to do that, you could amend the motion to allow administrative review of those options.
Okay.
That's one thing that you typically do.
All right.
Yeah, because did you see his, I think that worked pretty nicely. All right, we've through it. Did you want any discussion, any more discussion?
No, I mean, I could
Revise
prepare to describe that. I could attempt rather to describe that.
Yeah.
I'd like to modify my motion to approve case 2022-157, subject to staff conditions as written, condition 1, 2, 3, and 5, and amending or modifying condition 4 to include staff's original intent, but to offer a second alternate option whereby 3 pairs of columns would be included, 2 at the left corner of the gable, 2 at the bottom of the triangle gable, approximately in the center, and another pair at the far right side. And that the applicant would have the option of either the original suggestion or that new suggestion, subject to administrative review. Additionally, it is critical that the cheek wall be squared off and the columns on the left side find their way out to the end of the steps. In other words, under the end of the gable.
And staff could
Mr.
discuss
Walker,
that.
seconded that without objection.
A second.
Oh, yes, second. Yeah, second.
Have a roll call? Yeah.
Oh, roll, you ready?
Yeah.
Roll call? Okay, yes. Mr. Warren?
Yes.
Ms. Strong?
Yes.
Mr. Gill?
Yes.
Ms. Boyd?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Ms. Love?
Yes.
Vice Chair Doss?
Yes.
Chair Tucker?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And staff will get with you and discuss it.
Our next item is item number 9, COA 2022-177, 1305 Tutwiler Avenue.
Is the applicant present? Okay. Okay, please state your name and address.
Mary Ellen Kelly, 1492 Carr Avenue.
Okay, thank you. Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. Have you had a chance to look at the staff report?
I did.
Do you agree with the staff report and the conditions?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any opposition to this?
We didn't receive any opposition, but when I talked with Mr. Jones earlier via email, he said they didn't really agree to condition number 1, to replace the windows that were installed to fit the original openings. So that's why we didn't have this application on consent agenda.
Okay. So, but she's not in opposition to this. All right, you're okay with all of the conditions?
Yes.
Okay.
Which item are you up there for? Item number 4 or 9?
170?
Number 9.
I'm confused.
1492 Carr
See,
Avenue?
she said 1492 Carr. She's at item number 4. Item number 4 was on the consent agenda, wasn't it?
Oh, you were approved on the consent agenda.
Yeah, it's number 9.
You're finished.
Okay.
I think you're item number 9, correct?
That's
Okay.
why I kept looking at both
You're
of
all
them.
good to go. I think this is Lucas's fault. He put item number 4 up there. You can blame it completely on him.
Okay, so 1305 Tutwiler, is it? Okay, could you state your name and address?
Yes, ma'am, John Jones.
Okay, thank you. And your address, please?
My address, my home address was
Home address is-
4101 Oak Bend Drive.
Okay, thank you. Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay, thank you. Have you read the staff report?
Agenda 9.
Are you in agreement with the stipulations, conditions?
All but one.
Okay, all right. Let's go to the staff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Aisha Penzes, Division of Planning and Development. Item before you is a request for retroactive approval for exterior alterations to replace windows and site improvements to install 6 feet tall side and rear yard fence. Subject property is located at the southeast corner of Tutwiler Avenue and North Claybrook Street. This image is from Google Street View showing the previous condition of the structure from January of last year. These pictures were taken by staff last month, showing the current condition of the windows as well as the installed fence. These pictures were submitted by the applicant, showing some of the replaced windows. As you can see, some of these replacement windows do not match the original window openings, and there's infill at the top of the replacement windows. This site plan shows the approximate location of the installed fence, which is in line with the front facade of the house and roughly in line with the side street and the rear property line. Staff finds that the height and the material of the fence is consistent with the design guidelines requirements. However, it's about 2 feet away from the sidewalk along North Claybrook, which the design guidelines require it to be minimum 3 feet. And it's also in line with the front facade of the structure, but the design guidelines recommend that it starts from the midpoint of the house to allow some visibility to the side street view. Additionally, although Speedway Terrace design guidelines state window replacements are considered ordinary repair and maintenance, many of the windows have been replaced with new ones that do not fit the original openings. That's why the staff didn't consider the window replacement as an ordinary repair and maintenance. In conclusion, we recommend approval of this application with 5 conditions as stated in the staff report. And I believe the applicant agreed to all conditions but one, the first one, that states all replacement windows shall match the original openings in terms of size and header height. So this concludes my staff presentation. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners, go ahead.
Question. How tall is the fence that is built?
The applicant confirmed that the fence is 6 feet tall, and the design guidelines also require fences to be maximum 6 feet in height. So they're good.
Any other questions of staff?
With the work that has already been done in the replacement of the windows, I'm assuming that the consideration that that very front window that had the 3 pattern, having 3 separate windows, that one's okay as long as he fits the size of that opening.
Yes, and in my opinion, most of the windows that do not fit the original opening is on the right facade, right side elevation. So they're not fully visible from street. There's a house next door, so it kind of blocks it. But we still do not consider it general replacement, so.
And also, you're not requiring him to do the original pattern where I think it was like a 6/1 or something like that, right?
No, because the design guidelines do not address anything regarding window replacement. So as long as the replacement window fits the opening size, we do not review or approve the application.
All right.
Any other questions for staff? Comments?
Well, I think it's worth talking about where these windows all are and cycling through the photographs, because the house is on a corner, so it sort of has 2 principal facades. Obviously, it has a front and a side. Even the rear of the house is fairly visible, but it is still the rear of the house. And then I think Aisha's point is that one side of the house with especially bad fits is in close proximity to the neighbor's house. I'm just trying to get oriented and understand We don't have any really close-up good photographs of the front of the house, I think. See, bullet 3 is well, there's 2 bullet 3s. Actually, several. I don't know who wrote bullet 3 on all these photographs.
Well, one of the staff photos here in the.
That's the
this is
side.
front facade, and then.
No, that's the front. Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm sorry, we do have a good photo of the front. Well, the condition's written to say all the windows, right? So
Yes.
do you regard the windows on the front to be poorly fit? That's, I'm looking at.
If you're asking about this one, Commissioner Warren,
I'm hoping to look at this image here, which is a detail of the front of the house.
can you tell me the page of?
Page 6 of the staff report.
Yeah. So these,
Yeah, that's the window, yeah. Is there a better photograph?
no, I believe those windows actually fit the opening.
Okay.
So the ones in question are the side windows that
The one at
face
the
the
top.
adjacent residence
Yeah.
side of the house if you're fit.
These.
Page 6 and page 7.
Yeah.
6 at the top,
Yeah,
page 7 at the bottom,
right.
page 8 at the top.
So the windows on the left side are the only ones that are out of compliance, all the rest fit.
From the photos that applicant submitted, as well as the photos that we took, yeah, I believe all the windows that do not match are on that side that
left side.
faces another house. Yeah.
I got you. Thank you.
Faces the other one. Okay. Need to talk, not amongst ourselves.
So I had a little question with the front window even. As of now, everything else around there pretty much is a 6/6, except for that very front window, which is a 9/9. Kind of, yeah.
Well, when I looked at the Google Street View from January of last year, it kind of looks the same in terms of grid pattern here. And we had a previous case with this, the property before.
Oh, we're
And
talking about the lower window.
the lower window. Yeah, it fits the opening size. The grid pattern, I can't say anything because the design guidelines do not
For this
address.
For this neighborhood,
Right.
for Speedway Terrace.
Yeah, for this specific neighborhood is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions?
Oh, no.
for staff?
I mean, honestly, the only thing that bugs me is that it doesn't match, but, and like if you're going to go 6/6 everywhere else, be consistent. But right now, I think the biggest thing is make sure that it fits at least the opening at the very least. So I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, if we're finished with, that's my, are we finished with the, okay.
We can address him, yeah.
Yeah, we're doing that now. Okay, do you have anything to say? You have 5 minutes to present.
Well, I don't know if it's worth noting, the property was purchased in as-is condition. So, the majority of the windows had already been changed out, and we just wanted to be, I guess, aesthetically consistent with what they had done previously. Furthermore, one of the challenges is the window size in question was it 31 by 64, which is, larger than what we can get our hands on as far as any standard size.
Okay, thank you.
you're saying there wasn't a standard size window for these openings.
Correct.
Went with the standard size window and then just filled it in.
Correct.
Any questions for the applicant? Any more questions? Did you want to say anything else?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. At this time, I'm going to stop the public part, and can I have a motion from a commissioner?
Motion to approve COA 2022-177 with recommendations as listed by staff.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, so discussion. We're going to talk with each other right now. Anybody have anything else to say?
So, I mean, help me understand what happens with the window. I realized that it was kind of already in this state, so he was just kind of following through with what was there. But should he replace the window, how does that work? He's got to move the wood piece and find a window that's to spec with this
Or have them made?
side, opening size, or have them custom made?
Custom made, because they don't exist.
Custom order.
Get home.
The windows on the front of the house, are they not in the same room? The pair of windows on the ground floor? Because if I'm getting my bearings, there's a set of two windows on the front of the house, the ground floor, right, bottom left. And those two windows in the top left photo, in the foreground, the closest to us, they're in the same room. So the headers of those windows are at the same elevation, but we found windows that fit on the front of the house. Because houses have the window headers in a room at the same datum line.
Were they original?
Are they new windows as well?
I mean, they look new.
On the front of the house.
Yeah.
So I'm just.
He was saying he took the house as is, so I don't know.
Got the
What the
house,
situation?
the windows in the front were already there.
Yeah,
That's what, okay.
That's what he's saying.
yeah.
Were the windows in the front already there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Well, every window on this property was already there, right? Isn't that what happened? You bought a house and you ended up with the baggage of this case?
Yes, sir.
So you didn't install any of these windows?
No, there were 9. There were 9. No, there were 9 that we installed.
Oh,
There were
They-
9 that you did install.
Yes, sir.
okay.
Those are the ones that didn't fit.
Yes,
Or-
yes, ma'am.
I don't know. I mean, these are on the side of the house. This isn't ideal. I think if, at the very least, if you painted the portion of the header that's at the plane of the window on these 6 ground floor windows white, or even better, found a piece of white vinyl from the window manufacturer, or white PVC from a trim company. I mean, they make PVC trim. Somehow, so you don't have a cream colored box, visible above the window. That's kind of we'd be doing you a big favor, and I'm open to considering that with you guys. It's the side of the house, not the front of the house. This case has a lot of gray areas with, we don't have a drawing with a color-coded legend as to what the actual work was. I think it's the 6 windows on the side of the house plus some others.
9.
That's where I'm saying, what are the other 3? So we don't, what are the 9 windows, Aisha?
Well, I counted 6 over here, and then I believe rear facade.
There's the 3, I believe 3 on the, so if that's the left side, there's 3 on the right side.
Okay.
Do you still have any of the original windows?
Could you repeat that?
Did you keep any of the original windows? You replaced 9. Did you keep any of the 9 you replaced?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
If it's any consolation, I think I appreciate Peter Warren's suggestion. I think that's a good middle ground.
Any other discussion on that? Peter's suggestion?
There's just a lot of, this is not a straightforward case, and I will say this historic district guideline doesn't even mention the word window. You said it does or does, you sent me something about 7.5, but.
At the very end of the design guidelines, the last section discusses the work that is not in the purview of landmarks approval. And it lists window door replacement being not in the purview. And they consider it general repair and maintenance. However, similar to Cooper Young Historic District Design Guidelines, we consider this a major alteration because the windows do not fit the original openings.
Yeah, I think that's relevant because, I'll read it. It says 7.5 under miscellaneous. It is literally the last paragraph in this short 4-page. This is the shortest guideline of any district. And it's like the last paragraph here. It says, any alteration or improvement to any property within this district that is not explicitly subject to review in these guidelines is not required to apply for a COA. So if it's not listed, which, by the way, we barely listed anything, it's like the most toothless guideline I've ever seen. Next sentence, items within this include but are not limited to screened-in porches, window or door replacement, security windows and bars, and non-permanent decorative yard items. I feel better about my suggestion because it's just because of that guideline being so weak sauce. So,
Comments?
anybody?
I can support Peter's suggestion.
I support that as well.
Okay.
I do think it's important to address the fence. The fence is big and bold and in your face, and it comes too far forward. So it sounded like you were agreeable to all the other
But he
conditions.
agreed with that.
So I will. I'd like to submit a motion as follows. I'd like to submit a motion to approve case COA 2022-
Wait a second. Did you do the motion?
Oh,
I guess you have to withdraw your motion.
Yeah.
I can withdraw the motion.
Okay, thank you. I submit a motion to approve case 2022-177, subject to staff conditions 2, 3, 4, and 5, and revising staff condition 1 to state that those windows on the side of the house with that are ill-fitting at the top shall have a piece of white trim applied above the window that matches the color and finish of the window, such that the tan trim color is not in the plane over the window header, if that makes sense.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have a roll call?
Ms. Strong?
Yes.
Ms. Love?
No.
Mr. Gill?
Yes.
Ms. Boyd?
Yes.
Mr. Warren?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Vice Chair Doss?
Yes.
And Chair Tucker?
Yes.
Motion carries. And the next item is item number 10,
Thank you.
COA 2022-178, 2029 Felix Avenue.
Is the applicant present? Okay, could you come forward?
So I have this one here. We're not doing.
Could you state your name and address, please?
Michael Rushy, 2029 Felix Avenue.
Okay, could you raise your right hand? swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Have you seen the staff report?
I think so.
Okay.
Kind of new to all this, so.
Okay. You're representing him. Are y'all in agreement with the staff report?
I think that's why I'm here, right? Because I don't agree?
You have to answer that. You
Okay.
tell me.
I guess I don't agree then.
Okay, thank you. Okay, can we?
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Item before you is a COA request for exterior alterations to replace exterior siding, front door, and windows of the structure. Subject property is 2029 Felix Avenue, located in Young Historic District. Applicant is proposing to replace exterior siding with vinyl Dutch lap siding with white color and 4-inch reveal, and replace the front door with a new Craftsman style door with side lights as shown in the options. And they're also proposing to replace windows with 1/1 vinyl windows. Based on our review of the design guidelines, replacement of windows can be considered general repair and maintenance and do not require a COA approval as long as the replacement windows fit the original openings in terms of size. However, replacement of the front door cannot be considered general maintenance because the proposed door requires the existing door opening to be widened to accommodate the sidelights. Additionally, proposed Dutch lap siding does not match the original siding style, which is traditional wood lap siding. In conclusion, we recommend approval of this request with 5 conditions as stated in the staff report. And this concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Do commissioners have any questions for staff? Okay. You have 5 minutes to present your case.
Okay. So I'm kind of a newer contractor to Tennessee. I'm a contractor in Arkansas and Tennessee. And so when just looking at the area and where we're doing the house, all the houses, all the neighbors, all the doors, they're all vinyl and Craftsman door with side lights. So I put a door in with side lights to match all the other ones. And I have pictures of all my neighbors' houses with vinyl siding and Craftsman doors with side lights. So I don't know what the big deal is.
Do you know that you're in a historic district?
Yes.
Okay.
And all the houses around it are the same.
They might not have been in, if I'm right or wrong, they might not have, some of those might not have been.
Since 1975?
Yeah.
No, the district, Cooper Young, was established in about 2019.
It's a newer district.
Okay.
And developers or architects or builders in historic districts have to abide by the historic district guidelines and apply to Landmarks Commission for those types of things. You have to submit.
So they don't want this house to look like all the other houses? They want to change it, or?
It all depends on what we have to uphold. The neighborhood and what year voted for this particular
18 or 19.
They wrote historic guidelines for that particular area. We're here to uphold those historic guidelines. Whether they comply and look like everybody else or not, that could have been done 15 years ago, 20 years ago, before that it came under our purview. But we are sworn to uphold the historic guidelines for each individual historic district.
Okay.
Okay.
So what do I do? It's already done.
So we're just here to talk about what is done now and where we go from here.
All right.
What's done? The siding is done?
The door.
Okay.
And I've got pictures of all the houses that are to the left, across the street, and there's all the same.
But the
I
house,
understand what you said.
that's kind of beside the point right now. We're on that particular house because that is under our purview now.
Okay, well, that's why I installed the door like that, because they look
Okay.
like the other ones.
Okay.
Do we have a photograph of the door?
Yes,
Of the door that's installed?
yes.
Is it available to us to put on the screen?
This is rendering, right, on page 6 and 7?
I don't know.
Do we have it in the front of the house?
I've got a picture of it, if y'all need one.
This one, little bitty. Is it that little bitty one?
I didn't receive any photos of the work that has been done from the applicant, so all I got
I think that's just the
is the
kind of
previous
door it
condition
is.
of the house, which is honestly in rough shape, and the materials that they submitted.
So basically, what you're saying is you changed the rhythm and opening of the front door. It went from a transom overhead front door entry to a craftsman style with side lights.
Ma'am, I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
You changed a
The
transom.
change that you made to the front facade, originally, it had a transom over the front door entrance. You changed it to a craftsman style with side lights beside it.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're saying that the other houses on the street had craftsman styles with side lights, and you're questioning what was the problem with changing it from a transom to the side lights?
Yeah, the side lights.
Right. And so this is,
8-foot door versus, that was a 7-foot door with a transom over the top. So I put in an 8-foot door with side lights
but
to cover the same hole.
as has been stated by Commissioner Tucker, this is a historic district, and so each of the houses overall make up the district, but they have unique characteristics, or they're considered individually contributing to the whole district. So this could have been an example of where this house with the transom over it was quite unique for the street, and it is an architectural asset or feature on the house. And so when you take that away, you're sort of diminishing or detracting from the character or architectural feature that you find in the district. It's sort of a loss. So some of the other houses might have craftsman style doors with side lights, which are architectural details in and of themselves on those homes. But for this particular house, the transom over the front door was definitely an architectural feature. And you increase the rhythm or opening, which again changes the exterior of the front facade. And alterations or changes to the exterior in a historic district is considered a big deal because you're changing the character or the uniqueness of a property or something that is cataloged on the National Register.
Okay.
We do appreciate the work that you've putting in this because we know all of these do need a lot of little TLC going on here. Thankfully, I know, as you stated, there are several doors with transoms, but we also have several examples of your type of door existing all the way up and down the street as well, as along with even having the 4-inch reveal for siding. So it's one of the beauties of this neighborhood is that there is that mix. And I don't believe you've actually done work on it yet, have you? Are you?
I've just installed the door.
So you've already opened and cut in and.
Yeah. I wasn't really aware, but I am now.
It'll traumatize you for life.
You have a photo?
I do.
Yeah. Wonder if we could try to put it on the.
Becomes the solution.
So this is definitely retroactive. Yeah, it didn't.
But how did you do in that extra plus?
I'm looking at the streetscape, looking at all the houses adjacent to it, across the street, up and down the street.
Which I have them pictures too, if y'all would like to see them. I know it's not relevant to this, but just saying I had it.
I mean, the door you've installed doesn't have a window. It's not, the house that I see with side lights is 2 doors down from you, and it is a full light of glass. I don't really have a problem per se with the side lights, but there is a window that has the same bottom and top and vertical height as the side lights. I think that's a problem. I think the documentation on this case is totally lacking, and I'm glad you brought that photograph. The word retroactive is not in our application, and I'm struggling to understand what's being asked here, so.
I agree with the assessment of the design of the door as it relates. The height is a little overpowering.
So you're gonna, what is the siding left in the kind of a red material? That's that's wood siding?
Yeah, that's I guess it's the original 3-inch like cedar siding from probably when it was.
And so the plan is to replace all the siding on the house?
That was another, yes, we're gonna replace all the siding on the house. I'd propose doing a lap vinyl siding like all the neighbors, but.
Sir, all the neighbors don't have vinyl siding, so please don't say that.
Some of the neighbors, sorry.
Okay. What are you gonna do? So the opening is that OSB that we see on the left side?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And above.
So the siding will be replaced and
Yes, sir.
extended to cover that. All right.
So why I picked vinyl siding versus lap siding or hardy board or wood siding is because I'm gonna have to remove all of the existing siding in order to put the new siding on. And with vinyl, I can go over existing.
Right.
Okay. Did you have any more comments for right now?
I don't have any comments.
Okay, thank you.
So.
You want to ask?
Well, it's more of a comment. I don't know if now's the time, but it says horizontal, this is your guideline. Horizontal lap siding may be used as a primary building material or as an accent, but shall be constructed of wood, fiber cement, or a material of similar appearance and comparable durability. And I don't think that vinyl siding is as durable as wood or hardy. I mean, you can take a screwdriver and poke a hole in it. And in other words,
it does have the same appearance, but not the same.
Durability, yeah. It's not, anyway, it's not.
And I have a sample of that with me. Right. If y'all need to look at it.
Do we need a motion? Are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need a motion now. That's what I was going for.
I move to approve case 2022-178 subject to staff recommendations.
For discussion. Yeah. And I have a second?
Second.
Okay, and at this point, we're going to talk amongst each other.
I mean, I think we just, the easiest way to get out of this is to allow the door to be replaced to have a full light, so that there's glass with the top and bottom of the glass matching the side lights, and to require that the siding be compatible with what's outlined in the neighborhood district, in the district guidelines. And there's not a prohibition, the word vinyl doesn't appear, but I think it's perfectly reasonable to assume it's not allowed from that passage I quoted.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same durability as fiber cement.
I do believe that we need to add the trim around the door that would match the way that it originally was. Perhaps that could help, even with the patchwork that's beside the door as it is, even with the header, perhaps.
Yeah, I guess my assumption is that would occur with siding replacement, but it's fair to state.
Well, I'd like to see an example of what the door would be that would be replaced, or let staff at least see it.
Yeah, it could be an administrative approval. I think it's just a simple wood door that has a style and rail construction. It's just a wooden frame with there's a great example of it at 2039. Where are we at? We're at 2029. So 2039 is a house 2 doors over with side lights and a door with what we call a full light of glass. So it's got 5 inches of wood, glass, 5 inches of wood.
Anything else? Okay. Would you like to make a motion?
Well, yeah, sure. I would like to amend my motion to approve case 2022-178, subject to staff recommendations, but amending or revising condition number 2 to say that the front door shall allow for side lights, provided that the middle door is a wooden door with a full light of glass, with the glass height matching, top and bottom of glass matching the side lights, and also subject to administrative review by staff.
Second?
I guess let me add another condition,
Okay.
that the siding be extended around the modified front door opening with trim to approximate what was there historically.
A second.
Have a roll call?
You have something to add?
Yeah, I just had a question before we go to roll call. And it's concerning condition number 2, where staff is just recommending that the transom is placed back with the existing door to match the opening. To simply, and I'm just questioning why we can't go back with the transom and back to the original opening.
Oh, it's a compromise. That's the reason.
Understand compromise, but it is a retroactive case.
I think, respectfully, well, there's a motion with a second, so I guess we vote, and you vote the way you feel.
I think the fact that he did go back with an 8-foot door, which kind of filled in that additional space that would have made way for that transom, actually keeps it appropriately in line with the whole style of that front facade, which makes it okay for me, because there are examples of that throughout the rest of the neighborhood. But if he had done that 7-foot door and then tried to fill it in without it, then it would have been an absolute no. So that would be my reason of being okay with as it is right now.
Thank you.
Okay, could we have a vote, roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Warren?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Ms. Strong?
Yes.
Ms. Love? Yes. Mr. Gill?
Yes.
Boyd?
Yes.
Vice Chair Doss?
Yes.
Chair Tucker?
Yes, thank you. And one other thing before you go, if you're going to start doing some stuff in Memphis,
Come see you
work with
first.
these, because how many historic districts do we have? About
14? 18?
We have 18 historic districts. This is just one of them. Each one have their own sets of guidelines. So when you go to any of those historic districts, then identify which ones they are and get with staff and these people, because they're going to help you through this, so you don't have to go through this
Go
again.
backwards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably need this in West Memphis.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Start one up.
yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, that is our last case, but I did want to say we do have one case number 11 for the Civil Rights Museum. And Mr. Juan Self is here, and we thought that it's a significant project, and he was willing to do a short presentation for us, so we appreciate that. And I do want to note, though, I did have Mr. Walker abstained from that vote on consent as well, so, because he is with Self-Tucker Architects and worked on the project. So if you guys are okay
Oh, I'd love
with
to.
that.
Yes, please.
Okay. What?
Please.
And we have our presentation, if you want to just use it, and we can just advance slides as you would like.
Sure. Do I have to be sworn in or anything?
He said 11.
Does he have to be sworn?
No.
Just checking. Are we ready? All right, great. So first, let me thank you for giving us this time. I do want to take just a moment to acknowledge one of your esteemed commissioners, Mario Walker, our principal designer, also Antonio Torrado, who is the project manager, and Tiffany Ford, who is the special assistant to the president of the National Civil Rights Museum. And so we are excited about this project and pleased to present this. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting for this moment. So the primary purpose of this project is to expand the legacy building, what was originally known as the Young and Morrow. Now the museum has deemed it the legacy building that faces Main Street, and also to redevelop Founders Park to the south. A new addition on the east side, that would be a one-story addition. As you may know, the elevation from Main Street to Mulberry is about 10 and a half, 11 feet. And so it really is really more like a walkout type basement in terms of the addition. So it does not project at all on Main Street. The addition would be about 7,500 square feet and be at the base of Founders Park, the base being Mulberry. And then the legacy building itself, the Young and Morrow, would be renovated, not unlike the renovation we did to the Lorraine that reopened in 2014. And so we're excited about this project. A few things to note: we are maintaining the historic retaining wall along Mulberry, as well as maintaining the facade of the Young and Morrow building on Main Street, with one exception that would not actually, from a visual standpoint, would not affect the sight lines, and that is a portion of the storefront at the first floor on Main. We would install a pivoting door opener so that larger exhibits can be moved in and out of the museum along Main Street. Our team consists of Howard Rivas, who is the exhibit designer, SWA out of Houston, who is the landscape architect, and a number of local engineers for the project. As you can see, what the public will see on a day-to-day basis is a redeveloped Founders Park, which would have more defined terraces so that the Founders Park can be used not only during events for the museum, but open to the public. And also above the addition on the right, the section that's called A, would be an intensive green roof and a redeveloped terrace that would allow group gatherings. We did meet with the next door neighbor, Ms. Terry Jones, and she's excited about the project, and so we're making a few accommodations for her as well. But Founders Park on the south side, adjacent to the fire station, there will be a series of ascending rooms. The park would be, of course, completely accessible and allowing all to enjoy the full length and breadth of the park as well. Public art is planned as well, and new lighting. And so this park will be, again, open to the public at all times. And you can go to the next slide. He left his post.
All right.
Construction is set to begin on excavation in late April, early May of this year for the expansion and for Founders Park. September, October of this year, with construction to be completed by about mid-June of 2024. I'm not on this side, but yes, money has been raised. So yeah, everything is set to go, and the project is fully funded. So, but of course, in the museum world, fundraising never stops. But that's really the essence of the project, and so we appreciate your time today and for listening to me, and certainly would answer any questions if you have any. Great, yeah, we're really excited. Thank you. No questions? Oh, okay, so here's a few more. So this is a site section.
And we can share this full presentation.
Sure.
It was part of the application, so it's a really great set of drawings and renderings that show the full extent, which is very extensive and well done. So,
thank you. Yeah, we're quite excited about it, and we hope the South Main and all of Memphis will be excited about it as well. All right, thank you.
All right, is there any new business?
no new business, so
Next meeting, February the 23rd.
yes.
And then what time on Tuesday is the,
Correct, yeah, so our design review meetings have been moved to Tuesdays at
9?
10 o'clock. So,
Okay.
and we will try to get a calendar invite out to everyone for that so that y'all have it on your calendars. Or 9:30? 9:30.
9:30?
Tuesdays at 9:30.
Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Okay, whoever.
So second.